What if the seller won't give concessions to cover my buyer brokerage fees? And what if my buyer can't afford them?
Well, Gary, that is a question that has been coming up a lot lately in the trainings that we've done. To be honest, it's no different than when a seller who won't budge on price or they won't negotiate on repairs, right? You got to move on to the next home. I think though there's a fear that maybe this is the only, people who have that thought, maybe perhaps they have a fear that this home is the only home my client's going to want to buy, and the only thing that's getting in the way of them getting this home is my fee. I think that's the
Well, there's
fear.
also the fear of what if they just do an end around and go straight to the seller
Mhm.
and cut me out of the deal?
Yeah. I think the raw answer, the raw deal answer is this is no different than negotiating on any deal breaker for your client. You have to move on to the next one. I don't think people really like that answer, to be honest with you. Just from our conversations, people want to know, like, no, there's got to be a way to get around this. And as I've thought about this, I think the reason to be concerned is if you're coming from a place of scarcity, meaning I don't have enough opportunity. I don't have enough buyers that I'm working with or enough clients that I'm working with. So I really need this one to work out no matter
Right.
what.
Yeah.
And so the solution to it, I think, could be simply increasing the number of people that you work with.
So we're talking about a move from scarcity to abundance is what we're
Yes.
talking about.
Yes. Let's think about this for a second. If you only have one client, and let's say you like to, have food with your meals, you need that client to work out. You need to be able to get that
Absolutely.
paycheck, right? You need to
You
get.
bet.
Now, if you've got 20 or 30 clients that you're working with, and you have limited time, right? You're not going to be concerned about, oh, where's the next deal coming from? You're already working those opportunities. In fact, you might be at a place, if you have a surplus, where you might not be able to work with everybody and have to start referring them out because you just have too many people to work with, right? And so that all of a sudden changes your mindset. It changes your circumstance, because if you have a full pipeline in demand and people are lined up to work with you, um, you're not as concerned about, oh, if this one deal falls apart or this one home isn't, the one that's going to work out for my customer, because you know that you can move on to the next home. You've got more than one person that you're working with. And if you and let's say you have a lot of people that you're working with, the laws of supply and demand start to take effect, right? So if you're an in-demand agent, what does that
Right.
mean? It
Well,
means
that means that people will pay my fee
yes.
and they will line up to work with me. That's the whole
Mhm.
difference. And I think, Chris, that that's where you kind of got to halfway through this narrative is that if we can move from that scarcity mindset of I only have this one client, I've got to force it
Mhm.
into this, like this round peg into a square hole. Like if you are in that mindset, you might make it work out from time to
Mhm.
time. You might be able to work things through from time to time. But if you can make that shift to a scarcity, from a scarcity to an abundance
Mhm.
mindset, to marketing, consistently marketing and branding yourself, building that pipeline because people are demanding your
Mhm.
expertise, then we're not going to be held captive. We're not going to be shackled to a single client or a single home. We will have opportunities galore in order to choose from.
Mhm. Well, if you want to build a pipeline, I think everybody knows the answer, right? Like, so if you want a surplus of clients, what do you have to do? Well, you have to do marketing. You have to do prospecting. You have to have conversations and you have to engage the market. And that might take the form of working open house and so on and so forth. But you have to do a lot of activity to generate that interest, to generate that demand. And that's, I think, a big step that we could all start taking. Anyone who maybe has gotten stuck on the settlement changes or has gotten stuck on the practice changes that are a result of the pending settlement, I could see how it might be hard to think, how am I going to move forward? How am I going to move forward? But the fact of the matter is, I know a lot of times we joke around this. Having a few more clients tends to solve a lot of problems in real estate, and I think
It,
I
yeah.
think that's the case even now. Work to generate more clients, use those practice changes, give the consumer choice, give them options, but through the laws of supply and demand, you can secure your fees just by
And
doing more marketing and
so
prospecting.
true. And Chris, I mean, I think we're all looking to build our client database. But the key here is that we need to gain more knowledge
Mhm.
in order to do this. And if you're kind of feeling stuck, or if you need more tips, ideas, or solutions to marketing to get more clients, please make sure to check out our website for resources, campaigns, and more.
Well, there you have it, straight from the Marketing Club podcast. What do I do if the seller won't give concession to help cover my fees and the buyer can't afford them? You have the answer. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.